The biggest question that we're getting asked at the moment as real estate agents is it too late to sell? We'll address that question. Oh, what happened there?
Okay, guys, Christmas, it's just weeks away, scary but true. And the question on a lot of sellers' lips at the moment is, have I left it too late to list my property now before Christmas? We're always working backwards, right? So it is, I reckon it's the most commonly asked question at the moment, Mark, when I'm doing appraisals. What do you find?
Same. And I think, look, there is the people are worried about losing money. So, the risk of putting your property on the market and now is it too late that I'm going to be selling it for less? What happens because you're spending all that money on your campaign and potentially if you've got a 4-week auction, it could start eating into Christmas if you don't nail that auction. So people are going, well, what happens? What does life after an auction look like? And then we've got Christmas there. So is it clever just to wait? And if so, how long do I wait for?
Well, that's the thing, right? Because right now, again, we're in a bit of a volatile market. So the market's just been bustling the last 6 months. And depending on what part of Australia you're in, you might agree or disagree. But certainly on the northern beaches where houses are concerned, the market is definitely starting to level out. If you speak to agents in the eastern suburbs, they'll look at you like with a very surprised face, like they don't know what you're talking about. But that prestige market usually is the last to feel it. So we've already, as I said, started to see these house prices on the northern beaches plateau out. Not to say, guys, it isn't a brilliant market. It is. It's just been absolutely crazy the last sort of 6 to 10 months. But, I had this conversation yesterday with a vendor who wants to give me their listing, and they're like, should we wait until next year? We don't know what next year is going to bring because the market is still very, very volatile at the moment. Hey, Jeff, hope you're well. The other thing is, Mark, people have just had 4 months off. A lot of people have just had 4 months off with the lockdowns. I'm not certain that they're going to be taking another 3 or 4 week vacay at the end of the year. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, and you know what, Zach and I did an episode the other day where he was talking about he had 30 people through on a Saturday and 30 people through on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I thought to myself, you know what, it's definitely a moving feast. The market's changed, and we're not seeing those types of numbers. People are coming out of lockdown the last 2 weeks and they've got not only property ambitions, but they've got ambitions to see mum and dad, to catch up with their best buddies for a barbecue. So people are a bit chock-a-block with other stuff that they were limited to or could not do at all through that lockdown period. So I think that's impacting a little bit. But what does that mean for selling coming towards Christmas or waiting? Certainly, it doesn't really reactivate till about mid-January. That's when or even some commercial agents that I've been talking to are saying Australia Day is the marker. Post-Australia Day is the marker, was when it all starts happening. Potentially.
Sorry, but that's life as normal, Mark. So, that's pre-COVID. Yep, you could almost just, run your calendar by it. You'd be like, okay, real estate finishes around the 18th of December and it's not going to reopen again until usually the second week of Jan. Life's different now. People have had a lot of time off. I actually reckon we're going to sail all the way through. That's my thoughts. I reckon we're going to sail all the way through. I think it's going to be a very, very busy period. And I think for us tired real estate agents who have had no downtime at all, I think there's not a break in sight for Christmas and New Year either. That's my thoughts.
And so you're saying probably most industries, most people are sort of a bit rested because of COVID, so they're probably going to be sort of pretty proactive with property and not really having a sleepy end of December and early January like traditionally every year would.
I agree. I think this year's going to be different. But look, I don't know where people get this thought from that real estate quietens down over Christmas and New Year, because Mark, we're usually working. Our office is open every day, right? Except for those public holidays, we don't close. Think
Yep.
back over the years, like we are flat out. I remember, Mark, we were having our family Christmas lunch. We were in lockdown here last year, and I remember sitting in the study getting a property exchanged on Christmas Day. In Narrawee,
New Year's Eve, Christmas Day. Yep.
And it was busy. Do you remember? Like I was running backwards and forwards between preparing lunch and stuff. But and realestate.com, like what do their stats look like for December? It's the busiest month of the year.
Ballistic. So that's not something people should know. That's what people should know. Realestate.com, for example, the portals, Facebook, all those guys, they go absolutely gangbusters in December and in January because people have got traditionally always had more time. So that's a good, so it's a good time for voyeurs looking at property, checking stuff out. Now, one thing with our office, and this is a bit of a shameless plug, but every year since we've been in operation, we've stayed open through that festive season. Not a week, not a day, not a 2-week period that we close down. Traditionally, all of our competition closes down, so we win all of those buyers and all of those tenants through those couple of weeks. So it's busy for us. We stay operated the whole way. And I think if you're choosing an agent right now, I think you do want to ask the question, Lise, if you're going onto the market right now for lease, for sale, whatever you're doing, I think you want to ask your agent and your agency, what are your plans through that festive season? Because it would be it would be in your interest as a seller to not have your agent disappear for 4 weeks or 2 weeks.
I had this happen, Mark. So I had they became a client, but I had a vendor who had signed up with another real estate agent last year. Beautiful big home. So they signed up around the 18th of December, and then the agent into a 3-month agreement, and then the agent literally went MIA for 4 weeks. Anyway, the daughter who followed me on social media had called me and said, Lisa, are you working? And I was like, yeah, we are actually. We're open, we're operating. She goes, oh, okay. So does all the industry shut down over that Christmas, New Year period? And I was like, well, ordinarily a lot do, yes. But you're working. Yes, I am. Have you been busy? I've been absolutely flat chat. Anyway, long story short, that agent reared their head again toward the end of January. The vendors were so furious about what had happened that the real estate agent never explained to them that they were going to be MIA for 4 weeks. And anyway, long story short, they ended up getting out of the agreement, and I got the listing and sold it very, very quickly. But guys, if you're thinking of selling, ask the agent, are you going to sign me up and then go away on a holiday? Ask them. It's critical information. Because you do need to know.
We're open, so we're always spruiking it's busy, and is. But if you're closed, you'd always be spruiking that it's not busy. So I think you sort of got to read between the lines a little bit, and you sort of got to go, well, okay, well,
yeah, isn't that
do you know
true?
What I mean?
That's so true. But I think let's answer this question. Mark, let's answer the question, because every appraisal I'm going into at the moment, the seller's saying, oh my God, what do we do about Christmas if we left it too late? No, is the short answer. No, you have not. And not only that, but we've even got lined up mortgage brokers and solicitors that will work during that period of time, because that's often the biggest juggle. It's not trying to find the buyer, it's actually trying to find a solicitor. Or a broker. So we've got all of that lined up as well. Yeah.
Okay, now before we go, Luke Moroney reckons, good stat. Luke Moroney says, REA, the busiest, guess for realestate.com.au, guess what the busiest day of the year is?
I can see it here. It's Boxing Day, the 26th of December. Yeah. So that's really interesting, because you know what I always say, Mark? I always say I can time my watch on a Sunday by when people land on the couch. So I literally can see the spike in inquiry coming through on social media and listings and inquiries. 5:30 on a Sunday, it's just game on, isn't it? I can time my watch by it. And I reckon that's the
Yep.
same, Luke, with the 26th of December. Everyone's drinking,
Yeah.
partying, eating on the 25th.
Positive.
And the 26th, they're on the couch. They're on the couch.
You're relaxed and
So,
you're positive. You're relaxed and you're positive.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
another
What's
thing,
Anthony got
Lise,
to say?
just before we go, Anthony's brought up a really good thing. International students being permitted to enter the country in the next 4 weeks. This will increase activity. So I've got a personal friend that's working on bringing these guys into the country, and it is a big job, and it's definitely happening at the moment. The good news, Lise, and you and I were talking about it this morning, it's been so hard to operate for some businesses once lockdown unlocked, because they just can't get labour, they just can't get staff.
Yeah.
So hopefully this wave of immigration, this wave of students will help.
Definitely. We need them. I mean, it's one thing everyone's like, yes, the cafes, bars and restaurants are open. Let's go out. And then you only to arrive at a restaurant or a cafe and they're closed on a Thursday. These poor guys, they can't get staff now. So now that they're able to operate and finally start to earn some money, they can't find staff. And I've spoken to Mark, we've got lots of friends in hospitality. They can't host weddings and they can't run at full capacity. So hopefully that's going to ease things up for them. In a real estate capacity, that rental market is going to get driven even further now. It's going bananas at the moment. And we're also going to see the return of expats. So I believe it's, knock yourself out now. Qantas are reopening. Flights are back on from the 1st of November. The return of the expat guys. So look, I reckon that prestige property market's going to soar even more now. It's going to be interesting. All right, I think that's
this is the perfect time of year for expats. That's right. And this is the perfect time of year for expats as well. They're all positioning themselves for resigning overseas and getting new employment in January and moving and buying. That's a wrap. Thank you, Lise.
Yep, that is a wrap. Thank you, guys. Thanks for tuning in. So, guys, for anyone that's watching, last little nugget to take away, you've not left it too close to Christmas to list your property. Please don't be scared. Most people have had a good 4 months off, and I think most people are just going to be cruising all the way through this Christmas New Year period. That's my thoughts. Have a great day.
And make sure your agent and agency is operating all the way through, genuinely open every day.
Ask the question, not a silly question. Don't sign up and then find out they got MIA on you, like that happened to my client. Not with me, with some other agent.
That's it. See ya. Bye.
Bye.